Hi friends, and welcome to the channel. I'm Olivia, and if you've never seen my face before, you can consider me your fragrance-obsessed internet friend, here to bring you all the hot gossip on all things fragrance. If you guys tuned into last week's video, I was talking about the best niche fragrances for fall, and as promised, I am doing an affordable version today. So these are going to be the best affordable fragrances for fall. So if that sounds like your speed, make sure that you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and if you have, mwah, you're a real one. And for the purpose of today's video and being mindful of all budgets, we are going to be specifically focusing on fragrances that are under $100. I grapple with this idea of what is affordability because it's something incredibly subjective to your budget. But $100 and under seems to be the sweet spot, that seems to be the cap of where a lot of people are comfortable spending their fragrance money. So if you're looking for something $100 or less, you're in the right place. And without further ado, let's get into the video. First fragrance that we're going to start off today is called Vanilla Woods by the 7 Virtues, and you can find this at Sephora. So if you're not into blind buying, they usually have this in the clean fragrance section, so that way you can go have a sniff and see if it's of your taste. Who I think that this is going to be good for is those of you who like a vanilla fragrance with some character. And what I mean by that is the dry down on this has almost a charred tobacco sort of smell, but then you get a little bit of sweetness, not only from that vanilla, but you get a almost lightly butterscotch caramel sort of sweetness in a very, very deep dry down. So although it has a prominent woody, smoky, tobacco, charred sort of quality, it does have the charm of some sweet vanilla caramel as well. These are vegan, cruelty-free, and they are only $88. So I think that this is a fabulous grab. I know some people have said that the 7 Virtues doesn't last very long on them, but in my experience, I get about 8 hours wear out of this because it has a pretty substantial scent profile. Oddly enough, on the dry down, I do get something that is a little reminiscent of tobacco smoke. When someone smokes around you, not like a cheap cigarette sort of smell, but if someone was smoking pipe tobacco, that smell that kind of lingers on your clothes, I get a little touch of that. So if that off-puts you, just know that it has that little charred quality, but I find it very quaint. That is Vanilla Woods by the 7 Virtues. Next up, we have another fragrance that you'll be able to find at Sephora in the clean section, clocking in at $65. This is Lit by 5 Cents. I think that this one would be perfect for fall because when I think about fall, I think about aromatic. I think about greenery, which is interesting because usually that's when the greenery in the scenery is dying off, right? You think of dried leaves, that sort of thing. But I think that this would be perfect because it has the note of cannabis. This smells very aromatic because it has the note of sage, but it has that bright tanginess, almost as if you were smelling a bud of marijuana from some bergamot and blood orange. So you get tanginess, you get that very strong herbal quality of a marijuana note. You also have sage that gives that beautiful herbal quality. So this is green, it's fresh, it's tart, it's uplifting, and I think it would be a very fun reach for fall. Getting a little bit close to our $100 mark, this is Father Figure by PHLUR, and I am so excited that the weather is finally cooling down because I have been dying to try this in a little bit cooler weather because of the scent profile. I feel like this will shine in fall and winter time. Although this is a fig fragrance, what is the most prominent to me is that strong orris and iris, giving a very distinct powderiness. And then that powderiness is ramped up a little bit by some musk. So this is powdery, musky. It has a bit of a green fig. That green is supported with a bit of patchouli and cassis. Interestingly enough, on my skin, that orris combined with the sandalwood as it dries down gives a slightly spiced, slightly leathery touch. Overall, this is powdery, it's slightly green, it has a little bit of a spice and a little bit of a leatheriness, but I want you to think more of a cashmere soft leather. This is perfectly unisex, and I think that this is more of a cold weather scent. I've heard people say that their issue with FLUR fragrances is that they don't last, but once again, because of this iris and musk, this is quite a long-lasting fragrance in comparison to some of the other ones. Some of the other ones I only get about 4 hours wear, and this one pushes about 7 for me. That was Father Figure by FLUR. The next one is going to be one of those transitional fragrance where when you start off in the day, it is gloomy and it is cool outside, but you know that the day is going to turn into much warmer. So sometimes we need something that's going to carry us throughout the day, and so I'm going to reach for this. This is called MOJAVE by ABBOTT, and this is clocking in at $88. So on those mornings that it's gloomy and it's cloudy and it's gray outside, sometimes I want to reach for something that's going to have an invigorating quality, and that's what this has. So in the beginning, you have some citrus and you also have some ginger. So you have that astringent kind of quality that will help to wake you up and cut through the cloudiness. But this will carry through in cooler weather too, because it has the note of black pepper and tobacco. And those are notes that I tend to stray away from during spring and summer because I feel like they will not hold as much weight. But in the cool weather, that tobacco along with the black pepper feels very dry, it feels a little bit spiced, but then you get that beautiful touch of ginger that will help wake you up in the morning. So that is MOJAVE by ABBOTT. This one is going to feel very obvious and perhaps a little bit on the nose. This is Fall Cashmere by SKYLAR, and what video would it be if I did not include this one? So this one is going to be for those of you who love the scent of fall candles. You're going to get that beautiful spiced quality with some clove and cinnamon along with a creamy vanilla, kind of like the vanilla that you get in Vanilla Sky by the same brand, which would also be fabulous for fall time. You also get a load of creaminess from a sandalwood and the note of almond, so you get a little bit of nuttiness. You get a creaminess from vanilla, you get a little bit of spiciness from cinnamon. You almost do get a little bit of a waxy quality, and I don't know if it's because this smells so much like a fall candle, which some people will hate. And some people, if you get it, you get it. And I am one of those people. I quite like that scent. I live for fall candle season, especially the fall candles from Bath & Body Works. I know that they're super overwhelming, but I personally love them and I will burn them in the dead heat of summer. So I was really excited to reach for this one. Might be a little bit too photorealistic candle for some people, but I digress. That is Fall Cashmere from SKYLAR. Another one that I have been waiting for the weather to get a little bit cooler for to crack out is Show Pony by SNIF. This is a dry, earthy black tea fragrance. It has the note of sandalwood, and as opposed to coming off creamy, this is more of your dry sandalwood that's amped up with a little bit of vetiver. It's made just a little bit spicy with some black pepper, but there is a touch of sweetness from the note of plum. Overall, you are getting something dry, something earthy, a little bit spiced with a touch of sweetness. There is a saffron in here that gives off an ever slight leathery touch. So it's a little bit spiced, a little bit leathery, and this is perfectly unisex. I think that this is the perfect balance of earthiness with a little bit of sweetness while still maintaining an airy touch. This does not feel heavy, so this would be perfect really all year round, but because of that black pepper and vetiver, I'm going to reach for this more in fall. Now, while thinking about a little bit sweeter fragrances, I don't want to go for a scent profile that is yet very heavy and very rich and gourmand. I'm going to save that more towards the very cool months in wintertime. So in fall, when I reach for something a little bit warm, I'm going to be reaching for RAMI by DEFINEME. This is, in my opinion, such a perfect gourmand fragrance because it has sweet notes, it has a lot of warmth, but once again, this has a whipped light as air sort of consistency. So to me, this smells like angel food cake. But to get into the notes a little bit, this has benzoin that's giving you that ambery vanilla warmth. It has almond that's giving a little bit of nuttiness, and this also has the note of cherry. That's a dark cherry that does not come off medicinal. So there's a little bit of sweet fruitiness in the beginning, but overall this has a meringue-like texture. It's sweet, it's fluffy, but it's not overly sweet. So if you're dipping your toes into the water of gourmand fragrances and you want something that's light but warming, this is the perfect place to start. And it has these cute crystals on the inside that is clear quartz. So that was RAMI by DEFINEME. Next one is going to be a super affordable vanilla fragrance, and this is from the new collection from ZARA. They just recently released 4 new vanilla fragrances, but specifically the one that I'm going to recommend for fall time is Vanilla Vibration. I think out of all 4, this one smells the most niche, the most high quality, and this one smells a bit like black tie from Celine, plus the added note of cardamom. This is a powdery green vanilla. It has the note of papyrus that gives a crisp green quality. It also has that cardamom that gives a little bit of warmth and spiciness. So it's a little bit floral, a little bit powdery and sweet, a little bit crisp and green, with the underlying note of vanilla that is not overwhelmingly sweet. So this smells very, very high quality and lasts a good amount of time, and these are only about 20 bucks. So I honestly think that the whole collection was really good, but this one stood out to me as a little bit more spectacular than the other ones. Another one that's going to be super affordable is by the house of Le Monde Gourmand, and this is called Miel Bourbon. And if you didn't know, in Spanish, miel means honey. So this is a honey boozy fragrance. It's got a little bit of patchouli to give it a little bit of groundedness in the base, along with a bitter orange. So this is sweet. It's a little bit syrupy, it's boozy, and it has a little bit of fruitiness. And something about this, perhaps it's the honey, kind of reminds me of Italica, which is much more expensive, smells like a stroopwafel, and this one kind of feels like its younger cousin. So if you were looking for a much more affordable alternative, not a dupe, but alternative, this one would be a good one to look at. And also, they have a candle that matches this, and it smells fabulous. We've been burning it in my living room. Smells delicious. And probably the most affordable of them all is going to be this little Bath & Body Works spray that I picked up. This is Marshmallow Pumpkin Latte. I thought that this was going to smell much more pumpkin-y, much more that like pumpkin spice, cinnamon, caramel sort of thing. But this one actually smells like toasted marshmallow, not terribly sweet, and white musk. So there is a clean aspect to it, along with like that toasted quality and a little bit of sweetness. I much prefer this more for a layering tool because Bath & Body Works fragrances don't always last the longest. This doesn't last a long time, but if you wait to the right moment, you can find this on sale for about $5. So for $5, I don't mind to have this as a cute little pick-me-up during the day, for those days that I want to smell like a little toasted marshmallow. If you're looking for something that really is going to give you a bang for your buck, this is by the brand Orientica, and this cannot come more highly recommended because for the price, this is on the higher range of the $100 range that we're staying under, but it is very powerful, very long-lasting. This smells very similar to Oud Bouquet. So you have a very sweet vanillic oud with a bit of patchouli. You have a very strong saffron. So this has a very robust Middle Eastern scent profile that will last 14 hours plus. This is truly like bang, bang, bang for your buck. This smells regal. This smells like an Arabian princess. This smells expensive. And with that expensive, opulent smell, to some people can smell a little bit mature. Personally, I think that this is very well blended. It smells smooth, it smells sweet, it smells woody, it smells rich, and I think it's just fabulous. And I honestly like the bottle. They're tacky, but they're hardcore. They're very hardcore. So that is Oud Saffron by Orientica. Next is by a house that is not terribly well known, but it's called PERLANERA, and the specific scent is called ATARAXIA. And if you are a fan of Black Opium Le Parfum, I think that you would love this fragrance. It honestly just smells like a niche version of Black Opium. It has the coffee, it has the vanilla, it has the white florals, but what I've noticed and what my gripe about Black Opium is, and I am not here to rip Black Opium to shreds by any means, because for a long time I really couldn't stand it, but then I kind of came around. I have a little sample size of it and it's halfway gone. I actually enjoy the scent, but I've noticed that the white florals in that can come off a little bit sharp, a little bit astringent, a little bit synthetic and artificial smelling, but in this, it smells much more natural. That coffee and the vanilla is a little bit more prominent. The patchouli is not as intense or as headache-inducing. This just feels like a more well-rounded version of Black Opium. So if you liked Black Opium, I think that you would love this. They have it available on Maison d'Orient right now for 70 bucks, and it's $70 for a 3.4 ounce bottle. And to me, this just smells very sexy. I love the coffee and vanilla. I like the little feminine touch of white florals. It just feels kind of cheeky. It feels a little bit date night. And so I am off of the hating the Black Opium train. But as an alternative, this is a much more well-balanced fragrance. That is Ataraxia by PERLANERA. Now this last one I am going to mention is another Arab perfume, and when I give this descriptor, I'm sure that you're gonna turn your nose up for a second, but I want you to just hear me out a little bit. So this is CASHMERE by LATTE. A lot of people say that this smells like Angel Share by Kilian, and I definitely think that they are super similar. Not a perfect dupe, but if you like one, you'd like the other, and this is at a much better price point. So in this, you have dates, you have praline, so there is something sticky sweet about it. You also have nutmeg, so it's giving it that holiday sort of spiced feel, and it has a little bit of woodiness in the dry down along with some vanilla. So this is sticky sweet. It is vanilla, it is woody, it is spiced, but I say a big but. When you first apply this, I don't know what it is. It's probably because it's very affordable, but when you first apply this, and I've noticed this with some Arab fragrances, that it does come off a little bit acetone, a little bit rubbing alcohol. It smells very synthetic and cheap. When I first got this, I was like, absolutely not. Like that is not a good dupe at all. But it goes away. I'm telling you, when you first spray this, if you put it right up to your nose, you're gonna be like, Olivia, what were you thinking? Please let it dry. Because once I let this dry onto my clothes, this lasts an incredible amount of time. It smells delicious. It is definitely for those of you who like something sweet and sticky and warm and gooey and spicy and holiday smelling. This might even be a little bit more wintertime, but I digress. I still want to wear it. That little weird acetone astringent thing that happens, it does go away. I promise you. I promise you it goes away. So that was CASHMERE by LATTE. Okay friends, I hope you enjoyed today's videos talking about fall fragrances under $100 and my suggestions. I tried to touch on a little something for everybody, while keeping in mind what the weather does during this time and what kind of scent emotion I wanted to draw today. So if you have any ideas for next week's video, anything that you would like to see, any requests, drop me a little line down below and I will check in with you guys next week. If you haven't subscribed already, please do so. I'm here every Saturday, 10 a.m. PST. And for those of you interested, I am going to still have the link in my description below where you can come meet me in New York City, December 1st and 2nd at Scent Explore, which is going to be a humongous, fabulous scent expo. It's going to be my personal first one, and I got invited. And I'm really excited to meet you guys there. So all of the information is going to be in my caption below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next week, take care of yourselves, my friends.